strong.
Reports circulating online suggesting that the Philippine Navy is only eyeing 3 Abukuma-Class destroyer escorts from Japan appear to have oversimplified and, in some cases, misinterpreted the intent of the Navy's leadership. During a recent Senate Committee on National Defense hearing, Vice Admiral Jose Ma. Espoleta, Flag Officer in Command, FOIC, of the Philippine Navy, offered a nuanced clarification that sheds new light on the Navy's actual ambitions. According to Vice Admiral Espoleta, the Navy remains highly interested in acquiring all 6 Abukuma-Class destroyer escorts currently being phased out by the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, JMSDF, not just 3. However, he acknowledged that Japan may face internal constraints preventing the immediate transfer of the full fleet. The Abukuma-Class destroyer escorts were built between 1989 and 1993 by Japanese shipbuilders Mitsui and Sumitomo Heavy Industries. Measuring about 109 meters in length and displacing roughly 2,000 tons, these vessels were designed as multi-role combatants capable of anti-submarine warfare, surface engagement, and limited air defense. They are powered by combined diesel or gas CODOG propulsion systems, giving them impressive speed and range for their size, qualities that remain valuable even by modern standards. Each ship is equipped with Odo Malaris 76mm guns, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, ASROC anti-submarine rockets, and torpedo launchers, as well as advanced sonar and radar systems for maritime surveillance. Though over 3 decades old, their design and endurance make them ideal for offshore patrol and escort missions, particularly for nations like the Philippines that operate across wide maritime zones with limited major surface combatants. For the Philippine Navy, the potential acquisition represents more than just a transfer of used ships. It is part of a broader effort to bridge capability gaps while awaiting the construction of newer vessels under the revised AFP modernization program. The Navy currently operates 2 Jose Rizal-class frigates from South Korea, 2 Del Pilar-class offshore patrol vessels, former U.S. Hamilton-class cutters, and several smaller Jacinto-class and MPAC platforms. However, the lack of mid-sized combatants capable of sustained operations in the West Philippine Sea has long been a strategic weakness. The Abukumas would fit perfectly in that gap, said a senior defense analyst familiar with the Navy's plans. They're not new, but they offer credible combat power, longer endurance, and the ability to deploy radar and sonar systems essential for maritime domain awareness. On the Japanese side, the issue is far from straightforward. While Japan has been gradually loosening its post-war defense export restrictions, the transfer of fully armed warships represents a historic first, one that could set a precedent for future defense cooperation with allies. Japan's 3 principles on defense equipment and technology transfer, adopted in 2014, still impose strict limits on the export of weapons or systems that could be used in conflict. This means Tokyo must carefully navigate between supporting allies and upholding its pacifist constitution. Analysts suggest that this may be the main reason why not all 6 Abukuma-class ships can be immediately released, or why some sensitive equipment, such as sonar arrays, electronic warfare suites, or fire control systems, might be removed before handover. Japan wants to help, but it also wants to avoid political backlash at home, said a Japanese security expert based in Yokosuka. That's why the transfer may take a phased or limited approach. Earlier this year, several reports from both Philippine and Japanese outlets indicated that the proposed transfer might take the form of a hot transfer, meaning the ships would be delivered with most systems intact, ensuring minimal downtime before integration into the Philippine Navy. Some even hinted at a joint refit or technical cooperation program. where Japanese shipyards could help upgrade the vessels to suit Philippine requirements without breaching export restrictions. However, Vice Admiral Espoleta's latest remarks suggest that the final configuration of the ships remains under negotiation. If some components are removed, the Philippines may need to retrofit new systems locally or with help from third-party partners, such as South Korea or the United States. This uncertainty has led some analysts to describe the deal as a test case, one that could determine how far Japan is willing to go in defense cooperation with a Southeast Asian partner. The Abukuma-Class deal should not be seen purely in terms of ship numbers or systems. It is part of a larger strategic realignment between Manila and Tokyo in the Indo-Pacific. Japan has already provided the Philippines with coastal radar systems, air surveillance equipment, and disaster response assets under the Official Security Assistance Framework. The newly signed Reciprocal Access Agreement, expected to take effect soon, will allow joint military exercises and logistics cooperation between the Japan Self-Defense Forces and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The transfer of naval vessels would therefore symbolize Japan's growing role as a security partner and reflect its determination to support a free and open Indo-Pacific, particularly amid China's increasing assertiveness in the South China Sea. If completed, this would be Japan's first-ever transfer of major surface combatants to another country, a move likely to attract attention from regional powers. China, for instance, may view the deal as a deepening of the U.S. Japan-Philippines security triangle, which has already strengthened through joint maritime patrols and trilateral exercises. Meanwhile, nations like Vietnam and Indonesia may see it as a model for future Japanese security cooperation. The symbolic value of this deal far outweighs the ship's age, noted a Southeast Asian defense scholar. It shows Japan is ready to move beyond aid and into real defense collaboration. As of now, neither Tokyo nor Manila has announced a final decision or transfer schedule. Philippine Navy officials have remained tight-lipped, citing ongoing government-to-government negotiations. Sources familiar with the process suggest that the first ships could be made available sometime in 2026 or 2027, depending on Japan's decommissioning schedule, inspection results, and refitting timeline. The Philippine Navy is also preparing to send technical teams and crews to Japan for orientation and training, a process similar to the transfer of the Del Pilar-class cutters from the United States. Still, several key issues remain unresolved. Which systems will Japan remove prior to transfer? Whether the ships will be delivered under grant, lease, or concessional financing, and how much the refit and training program will cost. Regardless of these uncertainties, the Abukuma project highlights the deepening trust between the two maritime nations. In recent years, Japan has emerged as one of the Philippines' closest security partners, second only to the United States. Both share common concerns over freedom of navigation, maritime law enforcement, and regional stability. The potential transfer of these destroyer escorts, therefore, goes beyond mere capability enhancement. It is a symbol of shared values and mutual defense interests. Vice ADM. Espoleta's clarification, while subtle, reaffirms that the Philippine Navy's goal remains ambitious: to build a credible, modern fleet that can defend national waters, support allies, and contribute to regional peace. For now, it remains premature to conclude that the Philippine Navy has scaled back its request to 3 ships. The service's leadership continues to pursue the best possible outcome, one that balances capability, affordability, and strategic cooperation. Once finalized, the Abukuma-class transfer could stand as a milestone in Philippine naval history, marking both a leap in fleet capability and a turning point in Japan's evolving defense diplomacy. Until an official joint announcement is made, all eyes will remain on Tokyo and Manila, watching how this landmark deal could reshape the future of maritime security in the Indo-Pacific.